seems to come earlier every year. Just walked off the basketball court the other day and enjoyed watching the basketball team play. And here we are. Guys are back, and we're going to have a run test tomorrow and have a couple practices on Wednesday. So I know the guys are really excited, and I'm really excited to get back at it again. Got another terrific schedule again this year, especially with being back in the ACC. Then the ACC tournament. We're playing a lot of somewhat local teams, and always, the Hopkins of the world and the Albanys of the world that have done, extremely well nationally. Hopkins forever, and some of the other teams, a lot of playoff teams from last year. We certainly have our challenges as coaches. The last few years, our staff has gotten together in the fall, and we've looked at our team. In the last 2 or 3 years, a lot of the team has come back, especially at the offensive end of the field. So we have our challenges this year. We walked out in fall, and the Kevin Rices and the Randy Stats and Leckies and Schoolmakers and Glassos weren't out there like they were for the last 3 and 4 years. So it's been a challenge for us this fall to, first of all, figure out who we are between the newcomers, transfers, the freshmen, and the guys that are returning, and trying to piece some things together at the offensive end of the field. We're starting to get there. Certainly this next few weeks is going to tell us a lot, and I think as we go forward, you're going to see some changes during the season as we figure out our players and as guys tend to rise to the top. So we're really looking forward to our conditioning tomorrow to see which guys have put the time in and are ready to go and look to take some of those spots that are wide open in the midfield and at the attack end of the field at the offensive end. Fortunately, we're returning, Ben Williams in the Faceoff, so we hope that he's going to give us similar possessions to what he gave us last year. Cal Baduda is right behind him. Ben didn't play this fall, so Cal got a lot of experience and was right behind Ben last year and has some tremendous experience this fall. So we feel we've got some depth in that position. And then defensively, to have Mullins and McDermott back, Tate, DiAugustino, Cunningham, some other guys that with some game experience. And I feel defensively the incoming class is very talented. They really made some impressions on us this fall, and some freshmen have a great opportunity to play. Mellon has done a great job, the kid out of West Genesee. Nick, Helmer, Diltz, Bomberry, all have come in and played very well this fall, gotten better every day they've been here. They're very good skills. They're very good one-on-one defensively. And now that they're with us, they're getting to know the packages better and better. And certainly Warren Hill has done a great job this fall, along with Evan Malloy, who's come back and done a pretty good job. And Warren has just come in and really kind of taken over and a different goalie than he was a year ago. So we're excited about his play so far this fall and in the fall scrimmages. Again, being 100th year of lacrosse in Syracuse, that certainly brings a little bit more to it. With our tradition and history of the sport and success of the sport, our guys are certainly up to that challenge coming into this year. So I'm open to take questions whenever you're ready. It's wide open. I think that, I think at the defensive end, Nick Mellon has done a really good job coming in. Great feet, just a very good athlete, really quick. And I think last year you saw a lot of attackmen, like the Carolina guys and Kavanaugh from Notre Dame. They were 5'7", 5'8", Sankey and Bitters. Seemed to be the latest trend. Kevin Rice, Dylan Donahue, guys in that size category. A lot of Division I defensemen are 6'1", 2, 3, and 4, and they had a little problem covering some of these smaller guys. And Nick is, probably 5'10"-ish with great feet to match players like that. For us here at Syracuse, a little bit more of a trend going that way. We're looking for a great athlete with good feet, and he really fit that mold for us, so he's certainly one of them. I didn't mention Swigert in the pole position out of California. Certainly there with, with Furman and Fusco. Fusco redshirted last year, was a high school All-American in the pole position. So he, if you're counting redshirt freshmen, those guys are in that group too. And it's pretty, pretty much, wide open. There's a bunch of freshmen. I think in the midfield, there aren't really that many guys that have really stepped ahead of one another. I wouldn't be surprised to see us mixing and matching with some attackmen coming up to play in the midfield and vice versa, going down the other way. So we haven't figured that all out yet.
With Ben coming back, I mean, how nice is it to have that consistency returning in events, especially where you're looking at the rest of the team and there's going to be a lot of ducks.
Yeah, it's very comfortable. And again, I mentioned Cal right behind him, but Ben, with his stats last year and giving us all those possessions, along with his athletic ability. You may even see we're toying with using Ben a little bit more offensively and defensively, because he isn't just that traditional face-off guy that doesn't run very well. Is non-athletic. Ben is very athletic. He's got good speed. He can shoot the ball on the run. He's been working on that quite a bit in the off season. So it's we're trying to especially with Cal right behind him. It'd be nice to be able to use Ben offensively and even defensively a little bit. Maybe keep their guy on the field if he wins the face-off offensively. And now even if he gets winded, to be able to come in with Cal Peduta right behind him. We think we have a great 1-2 punch there, and it gives us the ability, like I said, to do some other things with Ben that maybe a lot of teams don't do with their face-off guys. Full go, yeah. Full go. He's been practicing. We're on his own, and we look forward to seeing him tomorrow.
A bit a different goalie. I assume obviously on that comes with playing more and being expected to play more. Would you elaborate about what is most noticeably different about it?
I think, he came to us last year as a junior college transfer. And I know people, a lot of people think in other sports, okay, they come ready to go. There's so much to learn at the Division I level. In his case, the adjustment to the shooters, the speed of the game, clears, rides. You want your goaltender to be a quarterback verbally on the field, so that he had to learn all those packages, and he has to be able to talk to the defenseman on the field, and even the save department. Him being involved with the World Games, the box games, probably didn't hurt him at all. Seeing going against quality players, shooters like that. A different game going from a box game to the field game, where you've got the box goal a lot smaller. All of a sudden it's a 6x6 goal, a lot more for goalies to cover up. And I think he's just come in comfortable. I think he understands what's going on defensively, clearing wise. And now I think it's second nature to him. He's been able to just focus on the clear. In our scrimmages down south, I thought he did a terrific job. A lot of people walked out thinking that he was certainly a high point of the scrimmages at the defensive end of the field. That's a great question. We've asked ourselves, coming into the fall and this spring, all about, dealing with the one guy returning that's going to be in the scouting report, that he's certainly going to be a focus. I think that we don't want to change him too much. We obviously are going to want him to carry the ball more than he did last year, especially with Kevin and Randy carrying the ball quite a bit. Dylan was certainly capable. He was getting the second and third guy last year. This year he'll get the first guy. But we don't want to put all that weight on his shoulders because he is so good at doing everything else, moving off the ball, working inside, with the inbounds things that we do. So that's been, some of the things we've been focusing on is, we still want to have a nice 1-2 punch, some guys in the midfield that can beat short sticks consistently, but we want to have some great support down there with Dylan at the attack end of the field. Time will tell. But, we've got some options, but we've got a lot of guys that are playing both positions right now. So we'll figure that out. And like I said, even as the season goes on, you may see some changes as the season goes on, depending on how guys get comfortable with one another in game situations. Yeah, Nick Mariano, even Nick Goalie, who transferred in from Brown, they've kind of fallen out of the sky for us, and they've done a really good job coming in. Mariano especially led the UMass team in scoring as a freshman and a sophomore, so he's shown us the ability to dodge and to finish the ball. We're still trying to figure him out. Whether we use him in the midfield or attack remains to be seen. We have an extraordinary amount of left-handed players. As a coach, you'd like to think all your players could go both ways, but they certainly have their strengths, and we have a number of lefties, which is pretty unusual. I think if you check the rosters at a lot of teams throughout the country, they're starving to get one or two lefties to run with a couple of their righties at the attack end or at the midfield end, and we have an exorbitant amount of left-handed players, which is a great problem to have. So it's a little bit more of maybe seeing which ones can play in the midfield. Some could maybe only play in attack. Some can play both. So we're trying to figure that out, but we'll come up with something.
Jordan Evans, up in his third year.
Yeah.
Obviously, very high bar. He's coming in as a top recruit. Your thoughts on his first 2 years and where he goes from here? Maybe you'd like to see him. Maybe you haven't seen quite yet.
Yeah, well, his first 2 years pretty challenging when, you're up there against Rice, Stats, and Donahue, all that have a year or two of experience on you. So the expectations were very high. I think that, we tried him on attack early. He could play there. I think the other guys played a little bit better with their experience, moved him into midfield, which he had some high school experience doing that. So I think we were able to bring him along. We ran him at attack a lot this fall. I think he was very comfortable there. He worked with Dylan pretty well. And, we're not leaving the option out that he can't go back into the midfield. But, I think he had a very good fall there. And he works so hard. He's one of these guys that is out there every day between the weight room, shooting on a goal, shooting in here in the off season. He's worked really hard, and we're going to give him every opportunity to play. And I think you're going to see him out there quite a bit this year.
One of those positions still up in the air.
Yeah, I think we ran him more in attack this fall because the last 2 years we ran him more in game situations in attack in the midfield where we needed him more. So it's a kind of a new, it was new for us to see him in attack consistently. So we pretty much all fall ran him into the midfield, at the attack end of the field, just to see how he was going to do there, how he's going to work with the other attackmen. And, I think that we'll start with him there right now, and we'll see the next few weeks before our first scrimmage how that all pans out. But got high expectations for him, as he does for himself. Yeah, I think coming out of the fall, Warren's the starter. And Evan did a good job. I think going into the fall, we felt we had a pretty good battle going on. But by the end of the fall, with the way the scrimmages went, I think you're going to see Warren right now as a starter, and we certainly are not giving up on Evan. He's worked very hard over the years that he's been here, but right now, Warren definitely has the edge.
More questions for Coach? How ready is this team to compete with other top teams in the country compared to past teams?
Well, I think just at the offense of the field, we don't have the experience. I mean, this is Syracuse University, so we feel we can compete against anybody. But, I think experience-wise, we don't have that at the offensive end of the field. So we're probably relying a little bit more on our experience defensively and our goaltending and our face-off to get us more possessions so that we can, we can bring that offense along. And, it's hard to say once you get out there in a game situation. We had, 4 and 5 weeks. Nick Goalie came to us. We had Nick, I think, for a couple of weeks and got hurt. So, we know less about, a little bit more about him because we had him for a couple of weeks, but he missed at least half the fall. So we're going to be using him a lot this spring in a couple of different positions to see where he's going to, get on the field for us. He played on a great Brown team and has got a lot of good experience from Carthage, where we've had great success recruiting from. So, I think you're going to see him out there somewhere. It's my best guess.